This one,
Mm-hmm.
a Nigerian star, current best player in Africa, Ademola Lookman.
Mm-hmm.
After going 6 games without a goal, Lookman returned to the score sheets this weekend. And, he looked delighted to score. He was, you could see a sense of relief on his face when he scored, had a good game overall. Smilai, Ademola Lookman, ending his goal droughts. Do you think he's already done with Atalanta? Like, he's just like, May season end, make I just come out? Because they are not winning the league, but they are still fighting for Champions League, Or do you think
Mm-hmm.
he's still like all in 100%, giving his die on the line for these guys till the day I go? How do you feel about it?
If you watch it very well, you realize that since that incident even happened, between him and Gasparini after the unceremonious press conference, and actually what happened, that they have to abuse him and everything. I think his mind is not really there. The way he connects with his teammates is not really there. If you look at the goal, even score, was it against Empoli? I scored 2 goals or so. It was just like, like it wasn't really to jump on each other. It wasn't there again. So if your mind is not somewhere, you know, there's a way it is. Imagine if current African player of the year that somebody just come to rubbish like that. So for me, I just think that I cannot wait for that May 17th.
Misses the end, man, just come out.
May season just make a package load. And but I think that's the reason why they will probably excuse him from the friendly game because he needs to sort out his future. Him and Victor Osimhen quickly, so that they can at least go on holidays, then start preseason, with their new teams. So for me, I think if you look at the way he play, he just want to, he doesn't connect again. You know that if you like go Champions League, you don't go waiting concern. So, so for me, I'm happy that he's back on his courses, and I wish him
Mm.
luck.
No, I mean, excited for him. Of course, he's our player. He's one of the players that we love. So we want to see him continuously doing well. So whenever he doesn't score, if he doesn't play well, everybody's like, look, man, But for me, just on a personal note for him, it was nice to see him score. As much as we know that, he's falling out with Atalanta, we don't want anybody to give us any kind of reason for why they don't want to pay him a certain amount or why they don't think he's worth a certain amount, whatever the case may be. And just things like, oh, maybe your goal drought, etc., all those excuses or reasons that people start bringing up. So I'm happy to see him back on his course. Let people just continue to see for the rest of the season what he can do. And while I agree that he looks a bit out of it. It looks a bit like, let me just play and just enjoy myself as much as I can and just leave. On a personal note, for his own pride, for his own professionalism, I'm sure he will still want to put in good performances, still want to score a couple more goals, just so that people still see that he's him. People still see that he's doing a good job personally, and whichever club that he chooses to go for, their fans can have that full confidence that they're getting a quality player and they're getting somebody that can really, really impact them. But I think it's a shame, when things happen like this. It's just a shame, and this is kind of similar to what we're talking about with Victor Boniface. We'll talk about Boniface later, but it's kind of one of those things. As one incident just happens, it wasn't a falling out with the coach, but it was a different kind of incident, and from that moment it's just as if they just switched the button on and everything is just different. The vibe is different, the mood is different, the way you are even just feeling and looking, everything is just different about it. But yeah, shout out to Ademola Lookman. I mean, still having a good season so far. Obviously, could have been better, but I don't know. This season is probably not going to get him any Ballon d'Or nominations, unless maybe he goes and kills it at the Afcon. Maybe that can raise his stake a little bit. Even though people like Carragher don't think the Afcon is worthy of consideration when you're looking at Ballon d'Or. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't really think Eh, that's the thing with football as well is when you perform at this. I see that's what, and that's the thing that separates superstars from good players is that consistency of performing at that high level week after week after week after week, year after year after year after year. It's something that is not easy to see. It's something that is not easy to see because we saw Victor Osimhen when in his own AFCO CAF Player of the Year season, fantastic, got nominated. The next year dropped. This year, playing, scoring more goals, but It counts for 1.5 because of so for this thing because it's scoring those goals in Galatasaray, so it doesn't count as much. Lookman having a fantastic year, the next year not quite following it up. Boniface having a fantastic year, the next year not quite following it up. All these things are the things that separates the good from the great. The good from the best. And that consistency, if you want to really call yourself a world class player, you need to keep that consistency. Because the truth is that even though Lookman is still having a good season, by all means, it's not a season that people are going to look at and say, "Wow, this guy is one of the best
Hmm.
in the world." It's just not as exciting as it was the year before. But shout out to him, man. Hopefully, whichever steps he takes in his career is a good one for him, and he can build on from there. Uh,
Yeah, and they're talking about players having good season. Akimi just in the semi-finals
of
of the
the
of the
Champions
of the
League,
UEFA Champions League. Morocco have a case now,
Salah,
and also too Thomas Partey too. Salah
the
just
big with
won
Liverpool.
the Premier League with Liverpool. So if you look at all those things too,
What
it's
of
going to be
this
very
boy
hard for
Gurasi?
him. Gurasi, imagine 9 goals or 10 goals in the Champions League. So if you look at the way this guy actually was performed, it's going to be difficult for him to get to top 10 in
Hmm.
Africa. Yeah, to be honest, let's be honest ourselves. It's going to be hard for him to get to top 10 in Africa. Looking at the way the party of this world, even Victor Osimhen
You'll be there
will
ahead of
be
him.
there
Yeah.
ahead of him based on the number of seasons best. His average actually what very good season now. So when you look at all those things around, I don't be surprised to see this boy that just signed for Man City. What they called?
Omar
The boy that was
Mamouche.
playing Egyptian up front. Mama Mush. Not surprised to see him in the top 10 list of
Hmm.
African Player of the Year. So it's just the season that it wasn't bad season for him. It's just that incident, negative, put on the limelight, Atlanta not competing for anything. So I think that's one of the things that we just want to leave
Yeah.
and actually what
I mean, all those
just leave
players we
with him
mentioned are
directly.
definitely going to be up for nomination. And I'm sure maybe there's one or two people that we're not
Yeah,
necessarily thinking of right now that have also had good
yeah,
seasons. But I still believe in Ademola
yeah.
Lookman. He will bounce back. At least Nigeria, we went back to back. So we can allow this year to go
Mm-hmm.
to Egypt or go to Morocco.
So I think
You
it
think
might be
my
Morocco.
Morocco? Because I mean, Hakimi is there every year.
I think PSG
Yeah.
won the Champions
But
League.
next year we'll be back. No way. Osimhen scoring next
But
year
Ghana
when
should not
Osimhen
win
is
in Ghana.
scoring those goals for Chelsea. No, Lookman is
It's
in the
just in the
Champions
Conference
League.
League.
That's what I watch and see in the Champions League where Lookman is doing his thing for I don't know which club Lookman is going to end up, but we
Hmm.
shall see. We shall see. Lookman doesn't have 20 goals and 5 assists this season. He has 19 goals and 6 assists. But obviously,
Hmm.
if you compare to, I think Mamouche this season has 27 goals and 14 assists.
Hmm.
It's not even comparable. I think what does
Hmm.
Salah have this season? Mohamed Salah has this season 33 goals and 23 assists plus a title.
Those are incredible numbers.
Those
33
are
goals and what?
23
23
assists plus
assists.
Premier League title.
Yeah, yeah. Those are incredible numbers.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason why it's just that Champions League. If Hakimi wins that Champions League,
The number
that's
don't
the
enter
thing that
red.
can help Hakimi if he wins that Champions League. Because if he doesn't win Champions League, just winning French League One and winning Premier League, maybe AFCON would decide ultimately.
No, no, no. It finished in
What do you say?
November.
Oh, okay. The period
No,
ends in
everything
November, so the AFCON won't be considered. So in that case,
will be
if
considered.
PSG don't win Champions League, I'll give it to Salah. I'll give it to Salah. But Hakimi will be in the top three as usual.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, yeah, kudos to all of them. Kudos to Lookman. We'll be back. We'll be back. Don't worry.
Hmm.
Next year, Nigeria, the return of the Eagles. Maybe anybody that wants to
Yeah.
choke head inside
Maybe
the battle, say
Boniface.
Boniface. Maybe if he can produce at this level, make we see, if he can produce at this level. Because I mean, unfortunately for him that year, even though be injury, it was looking like he could, do something. But
Hmm.
that's the thing with this life, man, and with football. You can be on top today, next year things just change and yeah.
But looking at that season, I will just know it because I can see that the upper body mass, I was so even this boy getting injured. But
But
no
yes,
injury,
Boniface
he
has
can
been
never
an
be.
injury plagued player for a long time. That's the honest truth. At this age, I
What do you think is
mean,
the reason?
to be honest, I don't know. Some of it might be injuries that he had as a grassroots player in Nigeria that never got treated properly, and all of a sudden, what that one part of his body is just weaker than it's supposed to be. Because that's something that happens. I mean, I interviewed Emeka Eze, and he said that that once you are in Nigeria, you injured, they don't send you home. You don't know if you need surgery. You don't unless say maybe your leg break. Maybe say everybody sees that okay, you need to do something about it. They will just send you home, you rest for a bit, you think, okay, I'm good. You come back. You don't know if you needed to do more
Mhm,
strengthening. There's no rehab that they go through. All these things, they just come back and play again. So for Boniface, at the age of 23, you don't tear ACL two times. Is
mhm, mhm,
is something underlying that maybe or something from earlier in your life that you didn't really consider that is
mhm,
affecting you. And sometimes some players are just unfortunate. Look at Awoni, for example. If it's not that he gets muscle
mhm,
injury, person could just nod the head. All of a sudden now he's injured
mhm,
again. It's just some players are just unlucky. Or maybe someone like Leon Balogun now, for example. Somebody just giving him cheekbone injury, or it's kind of like some players are just unlucky and injury. It's not like there's cost on them, but injury could just they find them from nowhere. Um, so
mhm,
I really don't know. Look at Jack Wilshere. That's why he's a coach now because talented guy that time for us now, talented player, but just could not stay fit. Look at this Chelsea boy, Romeo Lavia. See the performance he put in this
mhm.
past weekend. Fantastic
What about
midfielder, but
what about
always injured. He played 3 matches like this, is out for
what
10.
about the what
The
about your
captain,
right back,
eh?
national grid,
Which
national
national
grid?
is a national grid. Yeah. So it's just
Yes,
it's just unfortunate.
that captain
It's just
cannot stay
unfortunate. Some
fit.
people are like that.
But how come Usman Dembele is now staying
You
fit?
see, maybe he has learned how to take care of his body better.
He said, yes, he said he does not play video game in night again.
He has learned how to take care of his body
He, he,
better.
he's he's now
Mm.
married. He's focusing more. So it's not to stay
You
up till
get
like
your
3
sleep,
a.m. and
you
go
do
play
your
video
recovery
game. Why would
properly, you do everything.
why would you get
Invest in your body because your body is
invest?
your biggest money maker. So you have to invest
Mm-hmm,
in it. There's a reason why I know Boniface does not have Ronaldo money. So I'm not saying spend 1 million a year on your body, but at least if it's 100,000 a year, spend it on your body.
mm-hmm,
Out of the whole
mm-hmm,
maybe 1 million or 2 million you make in a year, spend 100K on your body.
mm-hmm,
Take care of it.
mm-hmm,
See, personal trainers, all these kind of things, because at the end of the day, that's what's making your millions. That's what's making your millions. And they say the best ability is availability. If you're a player that nobody
mm-hmm,
can count on to actually be on the field for them, it's tough, man. It's tough. But yeah,
mm-hmm,
sure. It is what it is. Wishing all our players the best. Um, and yeah,